I want to just kind of send out a just short little video here, recapping the exam and maybe give you just some pointers on maybe how to improve if you didn't do as well as you were doing, or to just tell you keep doing what you're doing if you did do it fairly well. The class average was about an 85, 86, somewhere in there. So that's really pretty good. I know some of y'all did not do maybe as well as you had hoped. There's 3 more tests in the final, so you have plenty of time to bring that average up. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. Make sure you're watching the videos. I have helpful hints posted. I know I talk about these on my initial video, but sometimes, we forget. So use those. Work your homework as many times as you'd like till you make 100. Do the practice exam. Now, the thing about the practice exams, the tests come from the same set of questions. Now, of course, the numbers are different, but it's the same type of questions. So if you're doing well on the practice exam and you're not doing well on the test itself, then you got to look at, how you're preparing yourself for the exam. I believe that, tests are timed, and maybe you possibly could get nervous knowing you don't have unlimited time. Maybe just because it's for a grade, it's making you nervous. I mean, that does happen. But the best way, in my opinion, to relieve anxiety, or the best ways, is to, first of all, if you're making hundreds on your homework, and you're making hundreds on the practice exam, or you're making good grades on everything you're doing, then you've got to convince yourself that you're ready for the test. The other thing I always suggest is, as you review for tests, don't use your notes. So try it. Try to work the review just as you were taking the test. Pretend it's graded, pretend whatever it is, and see how you do. Now, during tests, you can certainly use your notes. It's going to take time looking back, and I just think that's a wrong way to learn math. I think you can look back while you're doing homework, but you should still try to do as much as you can from your memory. And, if you do the practice review from memory and you do pretty well on it, then you should say, hey, I'm ready for the test because the same questions. And it will also help you prepare for the final, because the final is proctored and you cannot use your notes, and you're going to have less resources available to you. So, just keep in mind with that. That's one thing. Now, make sure, here's a totally different topics. When you're entering answers, if they're asking for the solution set, do not type X equals or T equals or B equals, just type the number. Second thing, don't use mixed numbers or decimals unless they ask. If they ask for a fraction, it's got to be a fraction. It can't be 1.5 or 2.5. It's got to be 3 halves, 5 halves. So I do review those, and I give you credit for them on your test, but I don't review your homework. So that could be why you miss homework questions. The biggest problem on this test seemed to be graphing and equations of lines. That seemed to be where the most mistakes were made. You have formulas to find an equation of a line, so make sure you're doing those correctly. And graphing, you've got to get that down, because we pretty much graph, every section we do here on out. So there's going to be some graphing. So you have to make sure you understand how to plot points, how to get points, and all that. So either, if you're really struggling with graphing, then you got to go get some extra help. Okay, get some extra help. All right, so that's what I have. Now, Chapter 3, it's 5 sections. That will be what your next test is over, but it is pretty much solely information from graphs, which makes people uncomfortable. So get busy on it, do your practice. We start functions. So just kind of, watch my videos, just watch them, take the time. Most of them are, 15, 20 minutes. Some are a little longer, but for the most part, they're pretty quick. So go ahead and take the time, and For those of y'all that are doing well, keep doing what you're doing. For those of y'all that maybe fell below the C line, then you got to find out something to help you out. All right. So good luck, and we'll be talking to you soon.